I love the thought of the e-commerce entrepreneur dads at the nursery gate. They're doing the school run, and really, like, for me, that's a massive priority. People might think, oh, when you're successful, you can pay someone to do that kind of stuff. But I'm like, no, the reason why I wanted to succeed in business is so that I had the freedom and the flexibility to be able to do that stuff, so that your kid sees you at the school gates and can come run into you. So since those early victories, though, how has the recent success that you've seen, where it really rocketed, like you said, how's that impacted your personal life? Because I know we were chatting a little bit before we started recording. You're now a dad. I'm sure life's changed a lot. You've moved out of London. Like, having the freedom that this kind of business now provides you, comparing that back to how it was initially, like, what's that changed about your personal day-to-day life?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm able to work on my own terms, I guess, which is great with a little 2-year-old. So if I need to pick him up from nursery, or if he's ill or whatever, I can be there at a drop of a hat, just because I've been able to be in a position now where I've got 2 full-time staff who can handle 99% of issues, and that's where we're at. So yeah, it's been great. More free time. You can take as many holidays as you want, but yeah, no, it's excellent.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, completely incomparable in a way to how it was when you first met with Lewis before having a son. I remember in that interview, you mentioned that you were first able to get a dog because of the freedom that it allowed you in sort of taking your dog out for a walk and that sort of thing. But now with your son, the freedom that you've got, do you sort of take him to nursery and pick him up from nursery and that sort of thing, and you're a bit more flexible with the hours that you work?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, now I'm on the drop-offs and pickups at 5:30. So yeah, no, it's allowed a lot more flexibility. As I said, like, don't have to worry about taking holidays for friends' weddings and stuff like that. You have the time and availability, I guess, to be able to do those kind of things. And yeah, I mean, it's been great. I mean, there are challenges as well, but it's been brilliant, and being able to be more available, I guess, is great.
Yeah, I can relate to that as well. As now a father of 2 sons. It's like, I love the thought of the e-commerce entrepreneur dads at the nursery gate. They're doing the school run, and really, like, for me, that's a massive priority. People might think, oh, when you're successful, you can pay someone to do that kind of stuff. But I'm like, no, the reason why I wanted to succeed in business is so that I had the freedom and the flexibility to be able to do that stuff, so that your kid sees you at the school gates and can come run into you. So yeah, I totally understand that, and can relate to that, because it's something that I do as well. So congratulations on getting there, making it happen, and taking the action to create it. So I know you mentioned that it's been a bit of a bumpy road, on your way to $1 million per year and reaching the £4 million mark in sales. Could you share with us a little bit about the feelings of doubt that maybe you faced in the early days? Because I'm sure it wasn't all smooth sailing. How did you emotionally navigate through the ups and downs as you went? What advice would you give to someone listening who's maybe going through some of those rocky periods at the moment?
As long as if you put the hours in and, focus on, task and just get them done. I think one good thing about, we had a direct competitor, and I think that was for the good of our business and probably theirs as well. So I always looked at competition, just thought, how can we just be better than them? And I think we kind of piggybacked on each other a little bit, and I found that ways of not getting too obsessed with them, but just knowing that someone out there, they're also making money, and just always continuing to learn. I've got quite a few regrets and stuff that I didn't do earlier on. So focusing on like email, for example, our email channel. Now that I think we do about 40% of our sales through email. And I spent quite a bit of time not becoming an expert, but really studying email, and I'd like to think we got in quite a good position now. And I've actually gone on to do freelance work for some suppliers in email. So once you've got that relationship with the suppliers and they know you're doing quite well, it's quite easy to be able to say, look, we'll replicate our success on your side, because they're all trying to do sales directly themselves anyway. So yeah, no, I think that would be a thing. Is a big thing for us was or for me was looking at the competition and just tweaking our stuff. And as you see those small incremental improvements, I think you see it in the results.
I love that, because I love the strategy of saying, right, I'm going to look at a competitor that's doing really well But most people, I think, with a scarcity mindset would think that, oh, by you doing well, it means that you must be stealing share for them, which means their business must start to decline. But I think the most important thing that you just stated was that it actually helped both of you. So you made a lot more money, and actually it pushed them to make a lot more money because they had to up their game as well. So I think when you transition from that, like, it's a zero-sum game, to like, actually, no, when you both up your game, the market itself can expand. You can both bring more people into that industry that you're selling in, and you both end up making more money. So it's beneficial to do that, and with the expansion of e-commerce as well, right?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah, I think having that competition with a direct competitor is good. I enjoy it. It keeps me on my toes. So if someone in our niche is looking at me, good. I want all the competition there is.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's a good way of looking at it. And also you mentioned the unexpected sort of benefits that come from starting a business like this. Like, suppliers are actually approaching you and giving you their marketing budget to learn. So what are some of the key lessons you said that you learned from the Dropship Unlocked Masterclass that you've been able to take on now over the last sort of 3 or 4 years?
Optimizing ads. What are the 3 things? Optimizing ads, adding suppliers, and adding new product. Yeah, I think that is still crucial for our business today. Those 3 things. If you're ever stuck, I mean, I always go back to that myself. What can you be doing? Those are the 3 priorities. Yes, outside of that, do some more SEO, do some more, email campaigns. But I think one of the key movers for us was just picking up this one supplier who we ended up doing. I think at one stage they were about 30% of our total revenue. I think you're always one client away from not doubling, but having significant growth, and that's what that one supplier did for us. It took us to a new level, and I think you can never stop looking for new suppliers, and that's something that I always am in the game for, I guess.
Absolutely, and it's well drummed into us by Lewis in the program about being really simple with what you focus on. But something you mentioned and referred to as well was getting a team on board. So you've now got 2 full-time staff. What sort of freedom do they allow you now that you've got your virtual assistants and your team on board?
Yeah, I mean, it allows me to focus on more of the strategy side of things. Yeah, I mean, I still enjoy that customer interaction. I should probably do slightly less of it, but I think again it keeps me in the game. It keeps me, my product knowledge on top, and I think having that team, it obviously allows me to focus on more the supplier relationships. I think that's something that is quite crucial, and something that I've done pretty well in is making sure that I'm always reaching out. I go and visit suppliers a lot of the time, just pop in for, a coffee. And 3 of them actually I do freelance work for them now. So that's how close I think people should get to their suppliers. Because, if they're spending money on digital marketing and you've got that skill, why not try and take a piece of that pie, I guess.
So going back from where you were before you left your job, and but working in there, you said you were looking at all of the people who were kind of in their 50s that had worked there for years, and you thought, I don't want to become one of those. Looking at where you are now, that's quite a transformation, right? So who or what would you say has been a cornerstone in your journey, and how did that make you feel? Like, what was there a sense of empowerment at any point, or a moment of clarity, or was it something else? Were there any milestones that you can think of where you thought that was a real turning point for me?
So I think it was the scary moment in thinking, you're 50, you've done 30 years in a corporate job, and that's just not what I had envisioned. But in terms of who has been a cornerstone of obviously my wife and doing it for my family now, but I didn't necessarily have that at the time. But it was more a sense of I just wanted to give it a go and prove to myself that I did have this entrepreneurial flair, I guess, inside of me, and that I wanted to see how far I could go, and it was almost like a test to myself just to see, how far I could go. and if it was possible or not. And at the end of the day, you could always fall back on a job, can't you? So it was more just a sense of I had a desire just to be able to do my own thing and see where it led, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think the societal norm, right, is that leaving the job is the risk, and that's the thing that, God, you're entering this world of the unknown, right, into entrepreneurship. How, like, you won't have the stable salary or the pension or all the nice perks that you get in the job. But like you said, flipping that and saying, well, I could always just fall back on that. That's the backup plan. That's fine as a safety net, but that's not what I'm striving for. You know, the risk for me is not leaving this, ending up as one of those people that I see down the line in their career on that trajectory that I don't want to be, and not having experienced the life that taking this move, this step, won't even call it a risk, would unfold, right? So I guess reflecting back on all of the incredible successes that you've had over the last few years of running your business, can you share a bit more behind the scenes of like the emotions and the thoughts that you've experienced? That, like, how did it feel seeing your vision start to materialize, going from just an idea in your head, following programs step by step, getting it up and running? How does that feel seeing that start to come to life?
I guess I'm not very good at sort of accepting that how well I've done in that sense. You know, when you actually sit back and you reflect as to where you've come, yeah, I mean, it's incredible. It's been really life changing for me, and yeah, I as I said, it hasn't come without its hardships, which, you know, every entrepreneur would go through. But when you sit back and just look at what you've done over the years, how far you've come, yeah, it's really rewarding. And yeah, I guess I'm quite proud of how far I have come in that sense.